All right, what is going on, faithful? I wanted to jump on. I'm actually in the Vegas airport heading home today. Found this little kind of corner nook somewhat away from people, so I apologize for like the sideline and chatter and stuff that's going to be going on. But I wanted to jump on and just kind of talk a little bit about how the 49ers draft went. We're done. We finished the entire, it's over. We've got undrafted free agents being signed, all those different things. But there were definitely some themes that I wanted to jump on. And, as I've seen on Twitter and kind of all the different things and, narratives that are being put out there, let me just say this, and I think this is very, very important. It's okay to be upset about the way the draft went for your team. It's okay to think, oh, it's a reach or whatever, or a steal. It doesn't really matter. But the one thing that I will say is you cannot say a player was not a good pick if you've never seen him play. Now, I'm not here to say like, oh, it's only the tape grinders or whatever that like jump on and they're the only ones that know. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is you got to at least look at what it is. I put this up on Twitter that, to say, give the 49ers, say they had a terrible draft or it's the worst draft ever or any of that BS, and you haven't watched any of the players actually play college football, like you haven't watched any of their things, that's crazy to me. Like, I just don't get it. I put it on there like this. It's the equivalent of leaving a bad review for a restaurant and you didn't even try the food. Like, you at least got to go see what's up there. Now, are there certain positional values that the 49ers missed? Yes, 100%. And so that is a legit critique. And, taking running back in the third. Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll jump on that. Oh, what's up, Clayton? Just want to say thanks to the freaking awesome Canadian Clayton and his son Raleigh for helping the production. Man, this week was such a great success here in Vegas. The relationships that were built in the community that was, brought together. Thank you, Clayton, and just so many different people that came together and just had a blast. Man, 4 days straight, a lot of work. I think we were live like 11 hours. Those first 2 days was incredible. Now, and I'm going to be honest with you, back to understanding the draft, I have not watched all these players. So I didn't break down any Fordham tape. And I don't think many people have. Am I going to? Yeah, you bet your ass I am. And of course, this is the best time to go over to our Patreon. Just type on Patreon 49ers. Join us there because you're going to get way too much tape. And that's a good thing. So we're going to learn everything we can about these guys, the insides, the outs, all that, But again, what I wanted for here is just to kind of provide a shell or a cover over the narrative of, what this class creates and what it looks like. And oh man, I love this, Dan. He says, John, you interrupted my Drake Jackson highlight viewing. And let me tell you this, go watch highlights. Go get excited. That is a beautiful thing. That's part of being a fan. That's beautiful. But Dan, he's a wonderful supporter of the show. And just want to say thank you for everything. He's going to highlights are great. The tape is where you got to go eventually to film. And I'm going to bring all that for you. I'm going to cut it up for you. I'm going to tell you what's good, what's bad, all that stuff. So stay tuned for that. Here we go. Let's talk about this. And, because we can talk about the draft, we can break it up into days. We talk about undrafted free agents, which again, like this is the thing. Thank you, MK. He says, I cannot believe we got Wes as an undrafted free agent. I was having a meltdown when we took Kalia over him in round 6. Yeah, if we would have drafted Donovan West in the 3rd round, everybody would have said, oh, that's a solid pick. All right, we're going to be fine. Developmental center. We'll be good. All that kind of stuff. But no, we got him for free. And he's not the only undrafted free agent that we got that's a stud. Leon O'Neal, who the 49ers met with twice as a safety / special teamer. Jason Poe, offensive guard out of Mercer, who I really like. And, there's a whole bunch of other 2 wide receivers that I've seen before that I thought did really well. So there's a lot there, and you gotta grade it all as a whole. You can't just if you buy a hamburger, you can't just say the meat or whatever. No, you don't. You eat it all together. And so now, are the undrafted free agents going to start or whatever? Probably not. But there are more starters in the NFL that are undrafted free agent than first-round draft picks. That's just the craziness that it is because the numbers, right? So, we draft 9 guys. I think we've signed pretty close to 15 or 16 undrafted free agents. So I think that's it. Tommy, yes, I'm still in Vegas, about to fly home. I have 6 bags of luggage. I kind of felt like a prima donna a little bit, just, all the stuff that we brought for the production and, whatever. So I got 6 bags, man. I am, it's getting there. That was a fun one paying that bill, but that's okay. So let's go back to this. Let's talk about the running back. Okay, Tyrion, David Price and Davis Price, LSU. He's a big guy. Why would we draft a running back in the 3rd round? Let's talk about it 2 different ways. Number one, I think this is how Kyle and John see it. That pick, okay, we got a free one right after it. Okay, and here's what I mean by that. The 93rd pick was ours. That's a 3rd round pick. The 105 pick was that we took next, that we took with Danny Gray. That was a comp pick. And so the way that they saw it was, hey, we have a free pick. How did we get that comp pick? That's when Mike McDaniel went and got hired as a coach. And so it's just an extra dart throw. And again, trying to understand this thing not from ESPN's point of view or NFL Network's point of view, from the 49ers front office point of view. This offense died last year whenever running backs got hurt. It died. What was the solution? Deebo. Once you put Deebo back there and Elijah Mitchell, then you had that 1-2 punch that was just killer. And then even in the, postseason, whenever teams started doing the 6-man fronts, look at Green Bay, couldn't do anything offensively. You look at the Rams game, couldn't do anything offensively. And so you have to be able to run the ball. And with all the Deebo stuff going on, you need insurance on that. If, let's say you sign Deebo to a contract extension, and on top of that, he doesn't, what's it called? I got dog food in my bag over here. The police star just came over and sniffed that. Sorry about that. That was awesome. But anyway, it's weird. But the idea is this. If Deebo does sign his extension, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some contractual limitations to, okay, he's going to get 3 carries a game per average, whatever else. You're not going back to that Deebo 9 carry a game stuff. That was an anomaly. Now, maybe in the playoffs you could do something like that, but you can't rely on that. And Shanahan does not trust these running backs. Even, I was pretty shocked when they signed Jeff Wilson because he didn't get 1 touch in his last 5 games he played in. Not 1 touch. He got some snaps. They like him. Pass catching's great. Pass blocking's great. All those things. You can't have a running back that you won't give the ball to 5 games in a row. That is not acceptable. And then again, you're sticking with this idea of Tyrion Davis-Price. Amazing pass protector. That's what he does better or as well as others. That's kind of the thing on what stood out to his tape. Again, I always try to find, what is something special about this player above the other people in the class. His was pass pro. Pass pro, big body dude. So is this going to be something that's going to help Trey Lance? I think it could be. Do I like this pick? Would I have made that pick? No, I would not have. But I was telling everybody for a very, very long time, that I could see the 49ers drafting running back early. That's why I kept doing all those running back breakdowns. Now, I wanted it to be James Cook. It wasn't James Cook, but that's what I wanted it to be. He went right before us at that pick. Who knows if that would have been, or whatever. But we got to see. We just got to see what's going on. Faithful from Burke, appreciate it, man. He says, hope your recovery is going well. It is, man. It is. And, let's go to the next guy. Let's talk about Danny Gray. Thank you, Tom. He says, the scouting on Danny Gray is bad. I hope to prove it wrong. Yeah, here's what I would say about being a wide receiver for the 49ers. You don't have to be the guy. You don't have to be the number 1, number 2, or number 3 guy. You come in, what is something that he does? It's speed. And so you want to stretch the field vertically over the top, he does that. You slants, which Kyle Shanahan loves, guess what? He does that. You get him the ball in space, and he's already at full speed, he can do some crazy, crazy damage. So, yeah, that one's going to be an interesting one. I liked Danny Gray. 3rd round was early for me, but just because I say it's early, they weren't picking until the end of the 4th round. Or I guess it was the middle of the 4th round. But there was a decent number of picks before there, and so they took it. Another thing that I thought was a crazy takeaway: 0 trades. Shanahan and Lynch love to bounce up and down. Nothing, just absolutely nothing, which is uh, baffles me. But hey, the trades that they have done in the past did not pan out. Traded up for traded up for Dante Pettis. It didn't work out. Traded up for Trey Sermon. Doesn't look like it's worked out. And another thing I will say about that Tyrion Davis Price pick, I think it means Trey Sermon. Scary, scary. That's all I gotta say. Not that you write him off because he's so cheap. You're going to keep him on the roster for sure on a rookie contract. But man, number 3 running back is where he kind of looks. Because again, the rookies will get that shot first, especially at that running back position. I think that's important. So, man, Brian Carter, thank you so much, man. You crushed it. Draft coverage, he was awesome, man. So thank you, Brian. Appreciate you, man. Love this. Now, Tony says best draft ever. I'm not there yet, but if you count Deebo as that first-round pick and Trey Lance as that first-round pick, those are 2 huge positives, right? Because we traded draft assets from this year to go up to get Trey last year. So that still weighs. That's got to go on the balance and the scale at some point, for this draft class and how you measure it. Because we don't get Trey Lance if we didn't use that capital. We didn't trade Deebo Samuel. And again, I'm seeing all the stuff out there. He's not happy, whatever else. Guys, don't fall into the same trap that everybody else keeps falling into just because they're learn your lesson, man. We've been telling you he ain't going anywhere. If they didn't trade Deebo the first day, they sure as hell are not going to trade him now. Well, what are they going to get for him now? A player for player trade, those are very, very rare, especially at that level. And all those teams that were really wide receiver needy are not now. Detroit Lions traded up for their wide receiver, Jameson Williams. Jets got their wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, right? Titans got their guy, Treylon Burks. Like, Eagles traded for their guy. Like, there's no. It's all positioning for contractual negotiations, and that's all it's going to be. I hate that the agent keeps going through with this, but we're going to be all right. Tommy, man, Burford. Yeah, Burford was a fun guy, and, a very, very good fit. What's he going to play? They keep going with these guard tackle hybrid players. The position of football that Kyle Shanahan wants, it's interesting. It's interesting. Well, because we got a lot of those guys, right? And, the only true center that we got was, which I do think Spencer Burford can play center. He hasn't done it, but let's see. Yeah, I'll say this. Alex Mack, I think, is coming back. I think he is. Just because, again, why would you not touch a center? Maybe they didn't have anybody that thought could fill in, but, I mean, it's just incredible because there were a lot of centers on the board. I think Fortner was one of the guys that went right before us in the second round. I think 61. Maybe that was somebody they were high on, but, man, I don't know. I really do think that they're happy with the center position because, one, if Alex Max retires, Daniel Brunskill is going to move over to center. No doubt about it. Now you have, I think, 8 guards. You have 8 guys that can play guards on this roster. I mean, you can just go down the list. Good gosh. But you have Brunskill, but I think you would go to center. Jalen Moore, Colton McKivitz, obviously Aaron Banks, who you drafted last year. All the guys that you got, Mercer, Burford, even, the 6'6" guy. I don't want to mess up his name. I got to get used to this one. Out of Fordham, Nick Zakilj, like, he could play guard. They said that they like him at guard as well. And so there's so many guards. So you solidify the center position, Daniel Brunskill. I think that's what it's going to be. And I don't know. I am not like head over heels with this draft class. But again, if you look at the title of this, it's an upside draft. So many of these players are projections. So many of these players are potential picks. So many of these players are transitional players to new positions. That I don't like. And again, people want to call me a homer or whatever. My biggest critique of this front office since they showed up 5 years ago, they play people out of position. They think that they're smarter than other people, and they think that they can manipulate players to learn new positions. It hasn't worked out that way. It really, really hasn't. So if that's, if you're trying to say, all right, what's the one thing you should be concerned about is, you don't have a lot of huge production players that are going to be playing in similar roles and positions that they did in college. And so we that's an issue. That's an issue. Will it pan out? This goes into kind of the Kyle Shanahan red shirt philosophy. Most of these guys aren't going to start. We have an incredible roster. The depth is great. So these are going to be guys that you are betting hit, not necessarily week 1 or even week 10, maybe week 1 next year. And that's what we're going to see with this draft classes or last year's draft class, right? Now you got Banks. Now you got Trey Sermon. What's he going to look like? You got Trey Lance. You got all these guys who didn't get much PT last year because they were redshirted. They're going to get their chance now. And so I think that's where we are. This is huge upside. It's all about potential. And so, again, whenever you say those words, potential just means you ain't done it yet. And a lot of the production's not up there. But, if there's one pick that I was in love with, it was 61. If you were watching us live, I was calling for the trade up. And he was one of the guys. It was him and Nick Benito that I thought that were perfect fits and they'd trade up. And, Lynch even said they were thinking about trading up for Jackson, but patience won the day and they were able to get him. How much of that's true, I don't know. I think every GM is going to say, oh, we had him as a first-round player on our board, whoever the hell they pick. But anyway, that's what it is. I just wanted to jump on before I get on this flight, which I got to bounce here. And just want to say thank you for all the support. Incredible weekend, man. And, of course, we're not stopping. We got all the videos, Patreon breakdowns. Give me one day to spend some time with the fam and relax. I got finals this week, too, teaching. So I'll get that taken care of. But, yeah, don't worry. Film's going to be coming your way shortly. Head over to Patreon if you haven't already. Go check that out. Until next time, and I'll be in a different state next time we talk. Stay strong, faithful.